shit out anyway if I get a bit over. As you know what I mean.
The state of the way you look right now is ridiculous. It's like a Tinder profile shot. Grinder. Hello, boys.
Okay, so, welcome back to the second podcast in the history of my life. Now, guys, for those who are new, I'm Lex, and with me today is Yusuf, who in the videos, aka Joe, you will have seen him on my YouTube channel already prior to this. Now, I know I promised that I would be doing podcasts on a regular basis, and I let you guys down on that promise, simply because we said we would do it between myself, Matt, David, and everyone. It turns out, when people live in different parts of America and across the world, it's not easy to do that shit. Yeah. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a weekly podcast. There's going to be me, and if it's just me on my own, fair enough, I'll talk about things on my own. But I'll try and we're going to try and bring in people like Joe. We're going to try and bring in people like Lainey, who's obviously here with me all the time, so we live together. And anyone else who is out and about and wants to join, maybe some guys in the UK, we can bring them in, or anyone who's about. And obviously, as I travel, I'll hopefully be able to go and do that at the same time. So today we have Joe. For those that don't know Joe, I'm calling you Joe. You hate,
you know. As long as the people know it's Yusuf originally.
Yeah, but
you can take Joe across the world.
Yeah, but in the wonders of this, you can be called whatever the fuck you want. You could be called Big Dick Dan.
You know what? In that department, it's not something I'm better in. But it's just a guy called Dan out there who's got a big dick. Please give me a couple, man.
So yeah, I think Joe's cool. He's relatable, and I think I honestly, and without it being like a racial thing, Joe is more relatable because you could call yourself. You could be on here, right on here. This is it. This is your name for on here. The Average Joe.
The average. Because I'm a
Joe.
gym guy.
What's it called? Dodgeball. That film is so
that girl.
fucking good. Oh yeah. Oh fuck! I love that film.
I love
that
big pack. This is why I have that big package.
it's a pump up package. Yeah, for those of you who might have watched the latest video that we did, you will have noticed that in that video, Joe appeared to have an enormous penis. It was because he had your cup on the entire time we did the workout, which I only noticed afterwards, and then thought, great, I look inadequate. So anyway, welcome to officially, I guess, the first episode of What You're Into on a Regular Basis, which will be Lex and Friends. Today, we're going to cover some interesting topics. There's a shit ton going on in the news today, and the biggest one is Jon Jones for us. Jon Jones, for those that don't know, Jon Bones Jones is currently, we still think, he's not been stripped yet, currently the light heavyweight world champion of the UFC. He just beat Daniel Cormier for the title. It was 2 weeks ago now, something like that. It wasn't long ago. And he just got flagged up for anabolic steroids. This is what it says in TMZ, who are obviously highly reliable. But it's Turinabol is what they're saying he's been busted for. So he's basically failed a drugs test. This was apparently a sample taken after weigh-ins. And it's Turinabol, which is a androgenic compound designed to hold lean mass. Now, something that is genuinely associated with cutting. So when they're cutting weight, they're
I don't know much about that, but I do know one of the biggest issues with mixed martial arts when they cut weight and stuff during the fight camp is muscle loss, because the training is such a high.
Well, we even saw it, didn't we, when they took TRT out?
Yeah. Oh my god.
You got
Vitor Belfort
before,
oh my
Vitor
god.
after.
Look, did you see his face and his skin?
Just everything just dropped.
Jesus Christ! I didn't realise how that was the first time, like in my life, that I ever witnessed how drugs has a benefit. Because
and that's not even well. Okay, we're assuming that's the TRT.
Yeah.
But I think the reason they got rid of it was because people were doctoring the levels at which they were being.
It got to a point where they got
they were basically just doing cycles of gear, weren't they? Yeah.
Oh man,
it annoyed me that because I
testosterone is low.
Yeah, they go in and they just go, can I just 3, 2... Yes, you definitely got low testosterone. 8 shots of this a week. The doctor signed off. Pay me this. Yeah.
I keep forgetting I can't fidget, so I'm really like kind of.
You can move, but what we don't need is rubbing your foot on the table.
I'm just a fidgeter, so I just can't. I have to
move.
Find a position where
you
I'm
see fit. And
comfy.
it'll be all right. Yeah, fuck me, man. When that Vitor was the most noticeable at Uberim, the change in Overeem from. Do you remember Uberim when he fought and was like just murking people?
It was
like,
a beast.
Just murking them
When he first came into the UFC. Oh
yeah, and you watch him now. What does he do now? In fact, when he was Uberim, right? Did you ever see him take a backwards fucking step?
Can you imagine him picking you up in a taxi?
Now he's like running off. He throws a shot and then he's honest. It's so so it's like we don't need the drug. We don't want the drugs in there. But it was more fun when they did it.
Do you know my honest opinion? Like whenever. With high athletes, whenever there's a sport, competitive sport like biking, fighting, and all that shit, you know, they should just legalize all drugs. And I'll tell you why. Because it's at that point now where, you know, everyone is on something. Everyone at that level is on something. I don't care what you say.
Then you run the issue of if you allow everything, people will take everything, people will die.
But that's their cause. The point I'm trying to get at is being better than someone else.
It's level playing fields in sport, isn't it? It's what we want. So it's like if you allow something, then it still has to be monitored, even to you're only allowed this much, which is the TRT issue. So they tried it, it didn't work because they screwed it. Sorry to put in there,
but there's so many like different drugs out there, and USADA cannot keep up.
Well, this is what they think he's done. They think like I was reading up on it, so I read up. It's an oral steroid that he's been flagged for, according to sources at the moment. There's no official statement. Like, this is just hearsay, man. He's definitely been flagged, and they're saying it's Turinabol online. It's an oral anabolic steroid, which is an androgenic, so it's designed usually for a cutting. This is what the statement of it is. You can search this up online yourselves, guys. It's Turinabol. It's easy enough to find. And it was what Frank Mir got busted for all those years ago. Remember, he got the ban? Mm-hmm. It's what he got banned. So it's been around a while. But they haven't been able to test for it properly since 2016.
See, this is what I mean.
Yeah. So whether he's tried to skirt the system or, here's my theory.
Go on.
I think amidst his pack of pills of vitamins and everything that he's given to take every day, one of his douchey little mates has given him a pro-hormone. I think. And so it's something you could probably buy over a counter somewhere, but doesn't conform to IOC. Is that what it is? IOC? Well, USADA. Doesn't conform to USADA's ban list. But but the problem is has he taken a banned substance or has he taken an illegal substance? Because that's the problem. If it's banned, that could be tainted supplement. If it's illegal, that's deliberate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean, and it's a very awkward position for athletes to be in, isn't it? Because you get one guy, for example, we were talking about it before, about Daniel Cormier, for example.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like him. You have your
let's discuss that. So if John Jones has done this, what a dick! Like, because we all wanted.
He has done this.
Everyone was rooting for him. Everyone.
I wasn't. I'm not everyone. I wasn't.
Really? You did not want Bones to win?
No, I didn't want Bones to win. Do you know why?
Go on.
I'll tell you why. Because with me, once you kind of, I really liked Jones when he first came out. He was killing everyone. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is a young kid. He's athletic. He's got like long ass fucking limbs. He's a beast. He's
raw talent.
He's got skills that pay the fucking bills, right? And that was it. I just respect him at that level. He was very humble. And then I saw this other side of him once the media crashed him with running over with that woman. Then drugs started playing the field, and then he just completely changed from this being, I love Jesus, you know, I'm so religious.
He was never loved Jesus.
Yeah, he's faking it though. I know, but I promise you, he was a religious man. He said it on interviews.
No, but wasn't this after the fact? Well, he fucked all this stuff, and then he became this uber religious, wearing a freaking button-down shirt.
No, he was like this before he got. I promise you, you know, he had this when he was interviewed, he'd speak like. Which I thought at that time was legitimately actually him, but it was just his two-sided face fucking. I don't like it.
But I think that the real John Jones is the coke-taking, crazy partying guy.
It is him.
But this is most of the great fighters in the world. They're all that little bit on the edge. They have to be. That's what makes them so dialed in as to what they do. It's like that they have that extreme of every side of them. They have this extreme talent for in the ring and the training and the dedication, and that then spills over to another extreme somewhere outside of that training.
Whether
facility.
it's good or bad in relating to the
in
life,
training
yes.
facility, it's contained, it's directed, it has direction. That's why fighting's so good for people, because it gives them a direction. But then when they're left on their own, and they have money and a little bit of freedom, because most guys who you bring into a fight camp, what do you call them?
What? Sorry.
It's not a camp, but what do we do if we go to Predators? It's
Just
club?
casual
Club.
Oh, a club. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So people who find fight clubs often find direction because they're not uber wealthy, and they're going to this place where they can put their energy that they have left from the day and direct it somewhere. Now you got a guy who's got a job and then he's doing that. By the end of the day, he's done. Whatever. But you take somebody who's only focused. That's their job. They still have energy left in the outside world to go do other things, and they've no other focus because that one thing in their gym is their focus only. So outside they just go wayward, and I think that's why you see it with all of them. Tito, who started banging porn stars. Chuck Liddell, he went out. He had a bit of a party phase, didn't he? I think as well.
How about War Machine, dude?
War Machine nearly killed that poor little.
What's her name now?
Oh no, she's a porn star, isn't she?
Kind of used to watch her on the side.
You could search it on porn.
I used to look. I used to look at that War Machine on the picture. Go. I basically fucked her.
Jeez.
I've masturbated to her.
What was she called? I've been typed. Let's find out.
Oh God.
Hang on, I'll search it. War Machine.
Annie Mac.
Annie Mac.
That's a radio DJ.
Annie Mac. That's a radio DJ. You didn't beat up a radio DJ. Just trolls into Radio 1 and hammers at me. I'm sick of your show. To be fair, Annie Mac does my nutting.
Summit Mac.
Something Mac. Yeah, hang on. I got it here. It is. There's pictures of her. Here, that's her. Shaved head. Christy Mac.
Christy Mac. I was
Christy
right.
Mac.
I knew it was Mac something.
Christy. We should have guessed Christy, or Crystal.
Look at that face of hers. He looks
She's
battered.
a beautiful girl, though. Isn't she?
Jesus Christ. I think she looks better with long hair, but she still looks pretty, doesn't she?
I always wonder, man, what is it that gets someone who looks like that to then be porn?
Yeah,
there's so much more. When you look like that you don't have to be doing porn. There's more choice in this world than getting stuff shoved in you for a living.
You were going to say it politely. I can see your brain ticking there, like, getting dick in every hole. It was just sounding polite. I saw it.
Now we've got the explicit rating on the podcast, and we've descended.
He knew this was coming before he was recording, and I don't know why I'm looking at the camera like I'm like, but he was saying, "Oh,
yeah, that descended quickly." Anyway, yeah. So no, I think we need that shit. Now, this is my reason as to why I don't like Cormier.
Come on, tell me. Oh, it took you like 20 seconds.
He's boring. He's not witty. He's not funny. He dresses badly. He doesn't look cool. And I'm going to put it out there, but he's got pedo eyes. Okay. I am telling you, look deep into that man's eyes and you see kindergarten. There's just something, he's just dislikable. He's just inherently dislikable. He doesn't look good. He comes in, he's like a tubby bloke from the pub. He's not cool.
Okay.
And when you want that hero, that person to look up to, they've got to look cool.
So you're going off image instead of actually judging him by his character?
His character as well, though.
Well, okay, fair enough. Okay,
He's
so
boring.
I can understand from a fan point of view where he's not the most exciting guy on the camera. He, for some weird reason, people dislike him.
I feel the same for
Floyd?
people who don't speak English well, because they don't translate their personality across.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like that. But with them, you have that feeling of, they're doing, the fact they can even speak English is better than what the fuck I can do with their language, so fair play to them. But you still don't get that connection. With Cormier, he's speaking English and there's still no connection.
Isn't it crazy, though, that in today's society, like, for a Conor McGregor star to kind of arise, there's certain boxes that have to be ticked. One, you have to kind of know English. Isn't it crazy?
Oh, definitely.
Isn't it crazy that, like, because you couldn't get some talented fucking dude like
Cyborg.
That's perfect. Exactly.
Cyborg.
And because
I love watching her fight. Amazing. And I try and watch her interviews. I try and watch the stuff on her.
You just can't contain.
But she just can't get across
what she
wants to say in a way that has feeling, and so you kind of you disconnect with her. You try, and then you just lose it. You go, I just get to a training bit, and you just want to watch a fight. So it's that same principle, I think. But with DC, I don't know what it is, but it's unanimous. He's dislikable because he walks into a room, and whether he's fighting John Jones or anyone else, we don't like DC.
Yeah.
I just don't want him. I don't want him to give him the belt back. I want him to put the belt up and go, here's another challenge for the belt. Don't give it him back, please. UFC, listen to me. Don't give DC the belt back, please.
This is the UFC. Hello, Anthony Rumble Johnson. I know you've retired, mate.
Yeah,
but do you
bring Rumble back. This is his time. Bring that killer back.
I don't think it's coming back.
He has so much to offer.
He's an athletic guy, wasn't it?
He was not even near his
beast. It was a beast. It was a beast.
Absolutely.
I was kind of gutted that he walked away from the sport, but this is what I mean. We was talking about it before about MMA. It's a hard ass sport. It's let's just say. This is just a random fact. Let's just say you put 100 people into MMA, right? And sometimes there's sports that don't pay a lot of what you were saying before, like they don't pay that well. And I don't mean in money. I mean in a sense of
what you put in
life.
It's not giving back.
It's not giving back to you. Whether that's obviously in today's generation.
It depends what your goal is. If it's giving back to you, if your goal in MMA is to coach others and give them a direction, then it's going to give back to you. Because you're always going to get people coming and training. But if you want to be a fighter, like you're saying, for those that don't know, Joe Yusuf, he's a very talented individual. How old are you now?
22.
20. So prime of his life still, plenty of years ahead of him. Could possibly do very, very well. Been plagued by a couple of knee injuries recently, so he's been held back. But to be honest with you, everyone I've spoken to, and I don't know, but they've all said the same thing, that you have the potential to really do well in this sport, and yet even you are still a little bit like, is the risk worth the reward?
Yeah, I was speaking to you previously about this, and I was just, after my injuries, it kind of woke me up, because for the people who don't know, I had an ACL reconstruction, and that is not something you just kind of brush off to your shoulder. And get the statistics on ACL reconstruction and the people coming back on sport.
You fill them in. I'm going to find out how to do the screen record. So when we do a screen record, they can see it on screen.
Oh, brilliant,
too.
brilliant.
And also, we'll try and not do too much of it, because obviously for those listening on the podcast, we'll obviously talk through everything that we're looking at with you guys.
Let's just say it's something tools-wise.
Knee injuries suck because there's two ways they go. Like, they're either a complete blowout that requires an operation, or there's something that niggles at you and hinders your training
for the rest of your life.
A long time. Yeah, so it's always holding you back. But you've had it. You've had the
I've had the ACL reconstruction on both knees, not just one. And once I got the first one, I was like, right, okay, I'm ready. It was a fucking long year of rehab. I'm ready now, I'm going to smash it. And then bang, my other one went. And I was like, fuck, I was in such a low place. But looking back now, I'm like, you know what? I'm such a better person now. I'm just so mentally strong. And I know for a fact that if this happened to 9 out of 10 people, a lot of people would have walked away from that sport a long time ago, because they've been like, listen, okay, so you got a couple of knockouts to say that you're a fighter, and you got 2 fucking major knees, and, your life basically, in a sense, is not the same again. But
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's back to rewarding it, back to MMA being rewarding, and it wasn't.
I mean, that was I obviously never did it. I did it old school days, when, like, if you were athletic and you were decent at a tie and you had some decent ground to be able to defend the judo guys, you could do okay. Obviously, the sport's evolved massively since I left it, which was well over that. Probably 8 years ago was my last time I fought, I think. Obviously, it's not the same to the extent of you having the operation, but I remember I had real issues with my shoulder back then, on my left side, just from grinding and training. And still to this day,
it niggles you.
Yeah, and I'm actually only just correcting the imbalances now from like 5 years ago. Because I wasn't aware of it. And I think that's the problem, is still in the MMA community, still in that whole era, especially with nutrition, there's a massive lack of knowledge.
It is.
Yeah.
You were saying about
unless you're paying a specialist centre, and even then it's only training. Nutritional wise, I'm still watching some of the the UFC embedded stuff and seeing these top guys. I watched a dude take strawberries out of a guy's food, like 5 strawberries out of a guy's food, because he said he couldn't have it because he was cutting weight. It was out of DC's food. It was whoever was doing DC's diet at the time. I mean, I don't know, that guy's sneaking some Kentucky Fried Chicken every time he cuts weight. Because where is it not going? That the amount of fat that boy carries, he should be
He walks around
dropping weight. You know what I mean?
He's not one of them guys though who kind of like, maintains.
But when you're holding that much fat and you've got this dude taking 5 strawberries out of your salad, thinking that's going to make a bit, and that I genuinely thought that was going to make a difference. Yeah. Like you've literally moved like 20 calories, you moron. And DC's probably paying this guy.
Yeah.
And the lack of sheer knowledge of food for him to be doing that is mind-boggling at that level. Mind-boggling. Which, I mean, also shows a lot of money still to be made in that sector. Jesus.
Exactly. Another thing as well is, back to talk about nutrition in that aspect, is with explosive sports like boxing, MMA, American football, whatever it is, you don't understand how much your body actually needs to actually, these movements that we do, they're not like, like dumbbell movements where you kind of like, okay, so I'll take a pre-workout. It's a lot of calories burned.
Whole different world.
It's a lot of calories. And some people, they eat like one carb meal and the rest protein. And
how many fighters, just the Predators alone, and I was talking
and the diet is
before,
shocking. It is. It's very bad.
Even the guys in there, when I was talking to them about diet, and they were coming, you all come up to fights. Remember the last bout? So the guys in the gym were, they were in the final week of fighting. I just, out of intrigue, was asking like how they were cutting their weight. And there were these crazy, like, some of them were doing no carb, no fat, plus water depletion. And that was the only way they knew how.
And I've been there myself. It's horrible.
That's like taking the batteries out of the toy and expecting it still to work. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't function. That's just sheer lack of knowledge on how the body works, about what's in food, what food does for you, how it fuels you, what's the difference between a carb, a fat, and a protein. They don't even know these basics. And when you're fighting at something that can effectively, let's not beat around the bush. When you're in a fight, you're talking about something that can end your life. Like, worst case scenario, something shit happens, you can die. You can physically die. And when you're involved with something that extreme, to not know the foundation of the food that supports the machine that's going to take on that is scary to me.
This is why it was a kind of a blessing in disguise when I got injured, because it really, really gave me time to kind of step out of that fighting zone and really look out into the distance of what I need to be at the top of the mountain in a sense of success. So I was like, right, okay, so my nutrition was absolutely shocking. I knew nothing about carbs, protein, fats. For God's sake, I thought fats was your fucking enemy. God damn, I was fucking
everyone
wrong.
does,
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. How obvious, like, I don't know if you know about about the sugar industry paying the doctors.
Yeah, there has been this. Yeah, that they were paying, they were doctoring results from, was it experiments done for weight gain with people, and they were paying the doctors off to say that
fat was
the enemy and
not sugar.
Not sugars, carbs. Let's get that out of the way actually for a first start. Everyone's talking about sugars like there's something thing, like it's death. Like, sugar is not death. Sugar is basically what any carbohydrate breaks down into at the end of the day anyway. What the problem is the excessive consumption of carbohydrate in sugar form. The only reason it's a problem is because it's high impact. So like 10 grams of sugar is a teaspoon, a tiny teaspoon. That's 10 grams of carb. That's the same as 50 grams of sweet potato, which volume-wise is massive. And what people don't realise is you drink a can of Coke or Pepsi or whatever, any sugary fizzy thing, in that can alone is probably around about 25-30 grams of carbohydrate just in that one can. And people are buying these like just to have a quick refresh on their walk to wherever they're going. Then they have the meals on top. Then they're adding things in like light mayonnaise, which is still horrendously bad for you because it's that clever advertising of reduced fat. If you see anything that says reduced fat on it,
do not buy it.
Don't buy it. It basically means we were really shit and now we're just kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can still have it. But it's another high-impact sauce. And the problem is people are eating high-impact sauce with a high-impact sauce. They're not getting any moderation in the volume of or control with the volumes of the food. And that's where they're going wrong. And then they're sat there going, well, I'm only eating 3 times a day. I'm still gaining weight. And then you look at what they're eating, and they're probably taking in like 1,000 calories a freaking meal. And if you're a little tiny woman who should be on maybe 1,800, and they're taking in 2,500, 3,000 calories, through sources they're not even knowledgeable about, it's how do you expect them to improve?
You know, I get a lot of guys around my area, I'm from Blackburn, messaging me all the time saying, oh, you know, I'm not losing weight, I'm doing this, I'm not losing weight, I've had this diet, you know, it's just not working. And, you know, I always say 3 things to them that really worked for me. Is one, it's really cliche and you've heard it so many times, but it's so true, is one, when you actually eat your food, eat it slowly.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when you eat food, this is the only time you are actually faster than your brain. What I mean by that is when you eat your food so fast, you eat it so fast that your brain doesn't realise how much food that you have in your stomach. It takes 15 to 20, 25
window, they say, don't
15 to 25 minute window for your for your brain to know and that your satisfaction wise.
The reason is it's not the brain catching up. It's more the fact that when you digest the food, you have to give it time to break down for those to
get into your small intestines,
get into the system, get into your blood, and then for your insulin response to occur, to happen, to fire in response to the food. So that's why. So if you can eat in that 20 minutes more than your body can break down, then obviously it's like backpiling what's coming. Yeah, and so then if you get what I mean. So
yeah, of course.
Because the response, the hunger response, is usually insulin. That's insulin control. Like, so as your insulin spikes, it's supposed to shut your hunger down. Which is why fructose is classed as the devil of sugars, because it doesn't create an insulin response.
So that's like fruit when you eat.
That's why you can drink 2 liters of Coca-Cola and not feel full, because it's fructose based. That's why they say avoid fructose. They say it, but when they say things like that, people then say fructose is the devil. Hang on, there's fructose in fruit. Yeah. Let's not eat fruit. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, no. Somebody please just briefly explain something in our simple terms. Like,
people always want the answer.
People is one or the other. There's not. Yeah, this is bad, and they don't ask, hey, why is that bad in that form that you're talking about? They just go, if you told them like one form of, I don't know, trainer affected some sort of athletes positively in one way, everyone go buying those trainers thinking that they'll become those athletes. And it's the same in reverse. If you say one bad thing about something and everyone fucking slams it, like, no matter no matter where, they link one negative thing to all things involved with that one subject matter. You know what I mean? And that's a problem throughout. That's just a general problem with people in general. So someone could do one thing bad, and now because of social media, they can be tarred with that for a long time. They can end up being wrong. Much like the fructose thing is. So there is nothing wrong with eating fruit. In fact, you should be eating fruits. It's very healthy. They are micronutriently rich and you need them in your diet. The only reason fructose is not the best thing to consume is because it doesn't quell your hunger. This is the thing.
That's why you should eat a lot of fats. That's why you should eat a lot of fats to kind of,
because fats are higher impact again.
Your body digests it very slowly and
they're more satiating. Fats are satiating.
And it's a lot more dense as a calorie. It's a lot heavier.
Yeah, but then again, in results, you have to be careful because you're getting over double the calories per gram of fat as you are per gram of carb.
Well, your hormones are actually made through the omega-3 fatty acids that you actually intake.
The hormonal support is massively down to fats, which again is why when these fighters are cutting carbs, which is your energy, insulin balance, all that, then they're cutting the fats, so they're not only removing the glycogen store replenishment, they're also removing hormonal support. So then they're wondering why they're underperforming.
And that's when they hit plateaus and but I'm having this.
But they're grinding hard in their eyes, you see. In their eyes, they're killing it because they're going through this war of with their food, with their training, and they've got to. What's that cliche saying they always say? That's always you've got to earn it. You've got to earn it to burn it. Earn it through the pain. And it's just bullshit. Like, the idea is to earn it through the least amount of pain. Like, optimize yourself.
You know what? You know whose fault that is? Fucking Rocky.
If you drunk raw eggs in a glass, have you done it? Dude, I used to do it religiously. Every time I started cutting, first thing, raw eggs into a glass, milk, drink that. I'm like, least cool guy doing it as well. I stood there at the thing, psyching myself up at these ones. God, you can do this. You can do this. And it gets like 2 eggs in, and I'm. Rocky didn't do this. Come on, you can be channel the Rocky. But once you start gagging, or once you think of it being snotty, they ain't going down. Just in the kitchen. What are you doing? I'm getting fit.
That is such a sexy gag you've
and
got.
then now when we find out we're macros and we're all in tune, now you find out how little protein there is in a fucking egg. You're like,
what the fuck?
Jesus, I mean, you're talking like, if you eat an egg white of an egg, 3 grams of protein. You're putting 3 eggs in there, 3 egg whites in there, and 1 egg yellow. Like, do you know what I mean? You're getting like maximum, like 15, 12 protein, max. Just ridiculously retarded.
Because movies have a massive impact on our lives.
It's true, though. It's true, very true. And the positive ones as well, because I don't think I wouldn't look how I look if I wasn't obsessed with Stallone, Arnie, and Bruce Lee.
Oh, of course, it's a positive. It has a positive impact and a negative. Like everything has a It depends how you actually see it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good goal setter. I think we're missing that now. I think now we're dumbing stuff down so much. People aren't aspiring to the right things because like we all know now, Rocky and that did.
Of course.
He used
Remember the press ups to get blood to his head? Handstands.
Oh yeah, for people that don't know that. Yeah, what was it he used to do? This is a genuine Stallone quote, isn't it, of what he used to do?
So obviously, to get really pumped for the specific movie scene, he used to obviously have this insane strict diet to a point where he would actually feel so weak because he'd be so calorie deficit wise. Yeah, he would to get blood to his head to actually function. He would get in a handstand position to get the blood to his brain.
So it wasn't the fault of the fact that he was going hypoglycemic. No. It was the fact he trained so hard his blood couldn't get back to his head because it was held in the muscles, the pumped, swollen, veiny penis-like muscles.
He had a veiny dick, the lot.
So this is the problem, you see. But at the time,
what, veiny dicks?
No. Don't be a dick diver. Don't be a dick diver.
Where's Big Dick Dave?
Big Dick Dave. Bring in Big Dick Dave. Dum da dum da dum. Oh, we've lost the visuals. We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
How long has it been like that for?
So the camera, we just lost the camera function. The reason that is because they to not be classed as a video camera, they can only record a certain amount of minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then they shut off after that time. So then they're not technically a video camera.
Wow.
So,
what's the purpose of that?
Because they can charge different levels for different things, and it's still technically a camera, not a camcorder, which creates different issues for, I don't know.
Yeah, back to that conversation, which I forgot to actually mention, is, you must get this all the time, Lex. They go, Lex, what's the right diet? What's this?
Oh,
what's
that? That brilliant question.
There's no such thing as a perfect diet. There is no such thing.
There is a calculated diet designed towards your needs.
Exactly, perfect.
Your goals.
Perfect.
And here's the thing as well, I was thinking about this the other day, just myself wandering around. Obviously, my girl Lainey is tiny, so she's a little tiny woman. She has quite a lot of muscle mass, but also she loves food. So I was thinking,
don't we all?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I'm like,
I love food too,
and she can eat like me, like as much as me, but she's half the size.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you just have to accept being that little woman. You can't physically have as much food as me, and it's just tough shit. And that's it. It's not me saying that, it's biology. And that's a fact. So if you want to have more food, you have to give your body the need to take in that fuel and use it. And that's why you need to then up your activity levels or bring your food down. And that it's just the way it is. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They're like, well, they can eat that, why can't I? Because it's tough shit. Like man, woman, child, whatever. Your body's designed to function off a certain amount of calories, and above that threshold, you'll start gaining weight unless you create more of a calorie requirement through exercise. And even then, there's got to be that upper limit, and you don't go above it if you want to maintain where you are. So I don't understand with Cormier. How many calories must that do be burning in training for him to maintain that fat? He's either massively under-eating, which is shutting his body down, or that motherfucker's going KFC after every session, or nipping off. You imagine Cormier's going into the dressing room, into the change room. Yeah, I'm just going to go change my wraps. And he's got one locker with all this kit in it, and then this other locker that nobody's quite noticed, this little one in the corner, and he just sneaks off it, opens up, and it's just jammed. It's just a KFC bucket there, right? Just this steam KFC bucket.
And chicken.
It fits just in the locker, yeah? Just squeeze it in, so you can't get your hand over the top. But what he's done is he's cut a little letterbox slit in the side so he can just quickly access a quick fried and then
it's just so detailed.
Then he's back out. He's back out there.
So detailed.
Locks up that little locker. Locks up with the Snickers stuff just down the sides of the KFC bucket, all pre-torn just a little bit, so that he doesn't have to faff. He's straight in. So he's in there.
No wrapper.
It's like this. One hand on the Snicker, the other one in chicken wing. As he rips that chicken wing, nom, nom, nom. As he goes to put the bone back in the bucket, Snickers, nom, 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 nom. And then that goes back in, shuts the locker, locked, and he's back in. No one knows anyway.
Brilliant in the detail.
That's it. It's the only thing that dude's this. DC KFC.
Hey, for a guy you hate, you sure think about him a lot. Is it?
Oh, just don't give him about that, please.
But yeah,
Anyway,
simply, it's all about calorie in, calorie out. As simply, if you can put it in the simplest form.
the simplest form is calories
Calorie
in, calories out.
calories out.
What people need to be aware of is then that is the most basic. That's like the if you're talking Lego Death Star is the accomplishment of your diet, then the calories in, calories out is like those Duplo blocks. You know those big, fat, 4 square things? That's calories in, calories out. You ain't building a Death Star with those big-ass Duplo blocks because they're just not refined enough. So after calories in, calories out, you then go into the breakdown of the calories. And a calorie is not a fucking calorie. I'm going to tell you this now. A fat calorie does not work the same as a carb or a protein. A protein calorie does not go in the same direction as a fat or a carb. You know, as in general rules.
Yeah.
If you get into emergency states of the body, shit can do different things.
But that's the ketosis. So,
yeah, you know, so it's understanding that as well. People don't understand. So if I can go and take in 2,000 calories of fat every day, technically I'm eating 2,000 calories, but I ain't going to gain muscle off that. I'm not going to feel great off that. So there's that balance of and here's the really simple thing. Take your calories, put 40% into protein, 30% into carbohydrates, and 30% into your fats. And that is a basic, but it'll see you through and at least get you moving in the right directions. And then from there, it's a matter of, okay, am I gaining weight? Am I losing weight? If you're still gaining weight, you've got to pull those numbers down. You know, assuming you started at a reasonable level. Don't undereat yourself either. So you're under eating. Here's what happens. This is the problem. Here's the problem.
You tell me. You tell me, Pokey.
Definitiveness of this, right? People think they're smarter than 10... How long have we been on this planet?
God. Us? Well, I've been here 22 years, mate. But don't know about you.
Human beings. How long have we been on this planet?
Oh, mate, don't even thousands and thousands of years. Let's Google this.
Let's Google. How long have we been on the planet? What have we searched here?
How long is humans? The existence of humans in the world.
Human existence
on our planet.
On Earth. Let's have a look. Okay. Why is there not just a number?
Yeah, I know. Usually.
Oh, here you go. The history of life on Earth began about 3.8 billion years ago. Okay, that might not include humans. Oh, we've been around.
When you say humans, be more specific. Like you mean like
we've been around for
Neanderthals, or do you mean like
We've been around for 0.004% of the Earth's history. Holy shit! Jesus, we are so pathetic.
About 200,000 years ago.
We evolved about 200,000 years ago. Okay, so 200,000 years, okay. The Earth's been here 3.8 billion, but whatever. Unless you believe in like that other nonsense where you think it was made like Sunday last week.
The Earth is flat, so if you go to the edge, you can just jump off.
What? The conspiracy theory. The Earth is flat, Jesus. What about satellites? It's all a ploy, man. So anyway, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
nonsense.
screw that.
Earth is flat, Jesus Christ. You can literally fly. You can get so high you can see the curvature of the Earth. It's all a trick, man. It's all a trick.
People are so
who's paying all these people? Who's paying all these people to have multiple thousands of pictures? They're not real pictures, man. Photoshopped. Really? We had Photoshop in like the 1940s, 50s? Oh, fuck. Anyway. So we've been around 200,000 years. So people think that we can outdo 200,000 years of evolution by tricking our body with a couple of quick, I don't know, blended banana juices in a fucking green herbal tea. We're going to trick our body into this ultimate
detoxification.
Taking cayenne pepper 3 times a day mixed with some mango juice on a hillside, stroking a goat. It's not gonna, it ain't happening. Right? You cannot outsmart your body. You are not smarter than 200,000 years of evolution. So, your body's going to respond in 2 ways. You underfeed it, it's going to shut the fuck down because it's going into survival mode. It ain't going to start... If you're starving, what's the last thing you want your body to burn?
Muscle. No, the last thing I want it to burn.
Fat stores. Because it's the most... Yeah.
Well, muscle, if anything. I don't want it to burn muscle.
Muscle's a waste of energy. Once you've got skeletal muscle enough to move and run and do shit, anything outside of that is unnecessary. It's taking up an unnecessary amount of calories and energy to support, so it's going to chew that muscle up, it's going to turn it into aminos, it's going to break that into glucose and use it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's how I don't want burning.
No.
If that's what you mean.
No, but that's...
I think I'm in survival.
What does your body not want to burn last?
Oh, so fats, of course.
Fat,
Oh, sorry, I
because they're
thought
the
like
most high impact source.
I was thinking of it from a survival point of view. Once all
it's
fats
going to
is
start
gone,
holding on to that fat as an emergency.
But to argue against that, especially in like countries like South America where it's very tropical, it's been shown that some people actually had a ketogenic lifestyle, and what I mean by that is people lived off a high fat diet. So like stuff like avocados, nuts.
Yeah, but then you're making your predominant energy source fats, not sugars, as the body's designed.
Yeah, but okay. So are you on about here?
So we're talking about an average Joe here.
Right.
Average
Sorry,
Joe.
my bad. I just got mixed up. Okay.
And so that's why when people undereat, they stop dropping weight, or they do drop weight, but they're dropping muscle. Mm-hmm. So, what are you doing?
I've got hairs everywhere and I don't like it.
Well, you got to put up with it. There's
I
dogs.
know. I'm just, you know, if that fidgeting thing. I found the thing now with my fidgeting's kind of like just removing little dog hairs while we speak, instead of like because you know
I
I'm
can't
such
decide who is weirder between you.
Am I really
and
that weird?
That little dog out there.
You know, you're not the first to say that.
That hunts for rabbit poos, jumps and eats plums off trees. And her favourite toy in the world is a metal bowl.
Oh, I forgot, of course.
Yeah. I don't know who's weirder out of the two of you.
You say this quite a lot.
Yeah. And what were we talking? Yeah. So average Joe burning. Yeah. If they shut their body down, the body responds simple. It's going to start holding on to fat stores and burning muscle. Exact opposite of what you want to happen. Yeah. Now people will counter this and say, "Well, I did a crash diet, lost loads of weight. It worked fine." Well, it might work once, but in that time you're still going to burn muscle. And yeah, okay, you're going to burn fat, but you do that repetitively over time. Your body's going to start every time you come out of that diet, out of that crash diet, your body it does this thing called it has a rebound effect. So it's called 8% rebound. So every time you come out of a deficit, your body will basically replenish your fat stores if you allow it by an extra 8%.
Replenish from the foods that you eat.
So when you start eating again, it goes food. And it goes plus might need a bit more of that for later.
Okay.
So it has this 8%,
Oh,
which is why yo-yo dieters get fatter and fatter and fatter over the years, because they're constantly like crash,
Spiral.
8%, crash, 8% on top. So they go back to what they were plus 8%. So they get this plus all the time. And so it might work once, which is what happens with a lot of fighters. They'll crash in for their first fight, drop to get to the weight because they're just wanting to get to a weight. Then they rebound badly afterwards, put on extra fat. Then they struggle for the next cut, and it gets harder and harder, which is why you're starting to see these fighters in MMA miss weight cuts. They're making them, and then they miss them. And it's because they're doing the nutrition's off point.
And another point on that is the guys want to be like the biggest, the strongest, and
Just
the lightest to make weight. It's like, dude, why do you want to be... You know, why would you take your body to that extreme amount just to fat on a lower level where you kind of like...
Well, I think they should put more weight classes in MMA.
I don't like weight cutting. I don't like weight cutting. It's, you know, if I was like the president of the UFC, if I was the baldy, fatty millionaire, aka
I quite like Dana, man. I think you. I
don't like him. He's just a businessman. He's just trying to make money. I don't know him as a character. I can't judge. He's amazing. Yeah. Everyone seems to.
I really disliked him.
So many tongues up his ass. You know,
he must have
a clean bum. He must have a clean ass. So clean.
They're just getting down.
Yeah, as soon as he lets one poo out, it's clean straight away. Like he's that's how many tongues he's got up there. I'm telling you now. But anyway, yeah, I think weight cutting is so unhealthy for the body that end of the day, it's a sport that we enjoy. Why should it go over to a realm where it started to affect our health and, you know, psychologically has a massive effect on people? Because, you know, you're having this alpha male type of character who wants to win, and then he's got a couple of things to worry about. Let's just say he's got his weight cutting on top of that. He's got his fight. He's got this pressure of winning. He's got bills to pay at home.
Yeah, bearing in mind they're doing all this as a hobby.
As a hobby,
most of the time.
Exactly. And more majority of these people have a full-time job. And I'm not, you know, there's people out there that's worse. There's a mother out there who's got 7 jobs and, you know, doesn't complain about anything. I know, but the fact...
yeah, but if you can't compare that, because this is somebody, we're talking about someone who's set themselves a goal, a challenge, and, you know, if you're going to set yourself a goal and a challenge, you've got to do what you've got to do to get there. You have to decide just whether it's worth it. Like that woman who has 7 kids, she got banged 7 times, but it's worth this every time. And her challenge is then to look after those fucking kids. That's her challenge. She's accepted it. So, you know, that's her thing. This guy, you know, other people's is the sports side. So, I honestly think I think this thing with the CT of the football thing, this study that was released, for those that don't know, they studied, was it 100 brains or more?
But
deceased
from what I
football
saw,
players.
it wasn't a number of how many football players. I got a percentage of how many of them actually
It was
had head
something
trauma.
like 100. I might be lying here, but it's something like 120 brains.
Google it right now. We've got it right in front of us. Let's do it.
And they donated their brains to this CT study.
Yeah, doctor, take my brains.
No, they're dead. They're not giving it. They're not. So,
I know I'm taking the piss.
so yeah, they're. I can't remember the search facts. It'll take a bit of time. Anyway,
Basically,
it's somewhere.
typing is like
it's a good ass number of brains that was donated over time. It's like at least minimum. It's either a minimum of 80 or something like 120. Anyway, every single brain from one of these football players, every single one showed a level of damage of CT, which is cranial trauma. Is it cranial trauma? It's brain trauma anyway. Is what they're looking at.
CTE? I think it's CTE.
Is that what it is?
Or CAT.
Let's clarify it. American football. CTE.
CTE. I thought it was
So
chronic traumatic
encephalopathy.
Encephalopathy.
Yeah. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Okay.
And say got a floppy. What?
And you've got a floppy.
Oh no, I've got a floppy.
Here you go. Look. CT study found in 99% of studied brains from deceased NFL players.
Holy shit.
They
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
No, we don't need that. So it's basically said, that pisses me off. Listen, website, internet, when I go on a web page, if I want to play a video, I'll click motherfucking play. Don't you throw that video in my face. Not only don't throw it in my face, if you're going to play it muted. And I'll unmute. Don't throw it in my face at volume 29 out of 30. You son of a bitch. Anyway, yeah, so basically what it showed was 80% or something like that of these brains donated by NFL football players, ex-athletes who died. Here we go. 96% of mild cases and 89% severe cases.
That is ridiculous.
Which is so crazy. So, and they've apparently done some recently as well from younger players who are showing signs of this trauma.
And these guys are like what?
These
17,
are
18?
College players.
In America it's different, isn't it? So how old are college players?
Well,
19, 20?
These kids are playing it since they're like 8 years old.
Fucking hell.
You know, so they're hitting like that since 8 years old. I think what people don't understand is, especially in the UK, they see these guys wearing pads and helmets. And they think,
well, pussies because they got pads on.
Not even that, just like you're protected. But it's the exact opposite. Like if you wrap up a hand and you wrap that hand up and you tape it and then you put a glove on it, you can punch twice as hard with that hand now than if it was bare knuckle. That's why there's that argument a lot of times that people are saying bare knuckle in an MMA fight would actually be less dangerous than allowing people to have wraps and mitts on, because people would not be able to punch as hard because they would. Because of the flexion in the wrist and the bones, they would break their own hands and wrists, so that would then reduce the punch power of these guys. And same with NFL players. You kit them up with the pads and helmets, these guys are hitting with 60-70% more impact.
It kind of gives you psychologically, it kind of gives you that confidence, doesn't it?
But they literally can hit harder. Like you wrapping a hand up, you can punch a wall. Unwrap it, you can't punch that wall. It's the same thing. So these guys are hitting. They're equating it to like being in a car crash on these big hits.
I can believe it.
And imagine they're taking how many
I've seen some tackles
game.
on YouTube and they are fucking lethal.
Yeah.
They are not.
And it's
exactly
crazy.
A play field.
So I think this now crossing over, and now it's crossing the boxing, they're looking into it, MMA, everything. I think people are getting a little bit wiser to the fact of how dangerous this really is.
What do you think it's going to do to the sports? When obviously, kids are going to grow up now in the next generation and it's going to go, Mom, Dad,
I think this is going to have a massive effect. I don't think it'll affect the sports. I think what it'll affect is the training. And then hopefully what we'll get from that is knowledge, more intuitive training, more technical training abilities, and then hopefully people start paying attention to the nutritional side of things. So I think the main thing we're saying here is, guys, if you're doing anything that's of any level that requires endurance, time, consistency, effort on your behalf on a almost like daily, definitely weekly basis, then start looking at your nutrition in a serious way. Because the amount of people that, like you said, how do I get like this? The amount of people who come up to me and say, how do I lose this bit of fat? You can't lose specific areas. That's one thing. The body works evenly everywhere. Everything your body does is done in harmony with itself. Everything is even. Everything. It's
genetically,
balance.
some people are different where they lose.
Genetically, some people will have
DNA.
Higher level of fat cells in certain areas, so it shows more. Yeah. But percentage-wise, if you class the body as 100%, you're still only going to stop flipping that. I am going to every time.
Why do I feel like he's my dad? I swear to God.
Because you act like a child. You act like a child, man.
Please don't.
I will slap you. I will slap you like a child. But no, think of it. If what were we talking about? My brain was ready to go. And lost
Fighting and nutrition. About flicking hers.
Yeah, and then I lost my train of thought. now it looks at your hairy ass leg with this slight random bold patch here just right by your knee because you're wearing rolled up shorts.
Oh, I know. Is that what it is?
Probably.
Really?
Rubbing where your shorts are rubbing, yeah. Taking the hairs out.
You know, what do you have?
What's it talking about the food, man? That was going to be something... So if people are doing something...
Sorry, if you're a high athlete, if you're looking to do something better...
Continually.
Yeah.
Oh, that was it.
Look
People
into
asking,
nutrition.
yeah, spots, losing fat in a certain area.
Fat consumption.
Yeah, not possible. So like, say you have fat all around your belly, and we'll call that 100% there, and then fat on your face, 100%. If you lose, like, fat from your body, it's going to lose 10% from your belly and 10% from your face. You're going to notice it less in your face because there's less fat there already. You're going to notice it more in the belly, so it appears like you're losing weight from your stomach, but in reality, you're losing 10% from both areas. It's just like 10% of 100 is 10, 10% of 10 is 1. So say if we call your face 10 and your belly 100,
right?
You're using the same percentage,
I get
but it's going to look less. So that's that mind trick that people often think where they believe they're losing weight from one area and not others. But that's not how it works. Your body works very efficiently. And the main thing being is that people say, I'm doing all this, I'm training, I'm getting good sleep, I'm here 5 days a week and I'm not losing weight. And I'll say to them, are you doing macros? Are you calculating food? Are you monitoring your food in any way, like using portion control or anything? No. Well, what are you doing? I'm just eating. And then there's a shot they do. They go, so I wake up and now I know I'm going to sit here and have to stand through an entire day of theirs, which I didn't ask to know, but cheers anyway, mate. And they go through, like, they have the porridge in the morning because that's what you do. And then they just go chicken, rice, chicken. And I'm like, okay, what are you putting on those?
Jesus Christ.
And then they don't even tell you what you're putting on that. Oh, well, I'm having mayonnaise on that. And they don't, but they don't tell you that when they're saying it. So when they're going to people, they're going, I'm just having chicken and rice. They're not telling people that alongside that, they're having some like pre-mixed shitty dressing all over everything, which is probably 400 calories every meal they're not aware of. Desserts here and there. They're not counting the odd, I had a bit of
as a guy who's trying to help them, do you not feel a bit like a... You fucking cunt, because like I feel like I feel like towards them because they're coming to me with advice, and I've had a couple of times where people come to me on a weekly basis, go, look, dude, I'm doing this, I'm not losing weight, and I ask them specifically, what are you eating, and I ask them on a weekly basis because obviously some
and they don't change,
and no, they don't tell me the truth.
Yeah, people
lie.
Yeah,
and they don't realise that when they lie to me, I'm not getting the full information, and they're going, oh, and then. In a way, I feel like a dick because I'm, the thing isn't working. They're not kind of...
The mirror doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Like, who are you trying to fool here? Like, I don't understand that mentality either because even if you do fool whoever it is you're talking to, the reality remains you still look the fucking same.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter whether you know or not. The reality is you can trick as many people as you want, tell them whatever. You still look the way you fucking look. It has no bearing on how you look fooling somebody. So you may as well be fucking honest. So at least you're going to get some... I just don't understand the mentality. What do they think? They think they're going to trick you and all of a sudden their body's going to go, tricked him, let's lose some weight now.
Yeah,
what the fuck? There's no
that,
sense to it. It's absolutely no sense. So I don't understand it. But the problem is people, the big problem, people do not want to take responsibility for things that go wrong. They will happily tell you how they did something amazingly correct.
But then when it comes
to something wrong, something else's fault.
People don't like being wrong, do they?
They just want it to be something else's fault.
Yeah.
That's all. That's why they're saying, I'm only having this and that and that. Because what they don't want to tell you is, and I'm doing this, this and this. And it's because they know straight away, that's probably not right. But they don't want to tell you that.
But yet they're coming for advice.
But they don't want to tell you that in case maybe you give them the magic answer. Well, you need to stroke a goat on a mountainside drinking a mango juice with your green tea. And they're like... I'm in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you market a product. Right, let's finish up. We're rocking on now. We're at 54 minutes, so we're going to
Has it been nearly an hour?
Yeah, we're going to finish up on the one big story of today, which we woke up to. Sadly, a man named Rich Piana, Rich from YouTube, who owned a company or owned a... I don't know what you say. It was a following, the 5% following, which was a nutritional company as well. He's passed away anyway, and It occurred. He collapsed at his home just over a week ago, like 10 days ago, something like that. Now I think collapsed at his home. 911 got put in an induced coma, and sadly did not make it out of the coma by all appearances. Today he has been declared.
Oh, so it wasn't just a rat. Oh, I didn't
no,
know
he was
that.
induced. Yeah.
I didn't know
So for those who don't know who Rich Piana is, Google search Rich Piana right now and just take a look at any of the images that pop up. He was a behemoth of a man, but he was semi-human. Yeah, I mean,
looking at the pictures,
because
he
he was
looked
an
it.
extremist. He was an extremist. He ran crazy drug cycles. He did one of his sayings was, whatever it takes. Like he was willing to die for his goal to achieve the ultimate physique, and in turn he actually ended up pretty much ruining his body because he became blind to what he actually looked like. I think he had a bigorexia, which he did just towards the end. He did actually come out and say he had bigorexia, where he didn't see how big he was. He didn't see his size.
That's actually a condition.
Oh yeah, it's just like
I did it
like anorexia.
Like
but the other
anorexia,
way
but
around.
wow,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
So he's never
He was
actually
never big
fulfilled.
enough for himself.
Literally fulfilled.
Yeah, and this dude got to 300 and something pounds at one point, where he couldn't walk and breathe at the same time. He was extreme, and he used to run crazy drug
His
cycles.
joints must have been full.
Yeah, he had really bad knees. He was constantly at the doctors. He had like skin cancer from sunbeds. He was obviously troubled in certain ways, but in other ways he was such a positive guy. Because if you
Depending
ever
on what you took out of him.
Well, not only that, he always had time for people.
Was he a nice guy? Yeah,
Like,
fair play
if
to him.
you saw him in public and wanted a picture, he would take a picture with
See,
you.
that's a really nice thing. But I hate people, that judge people first. Oh, he takes steroids. Oh, he's a bad person.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you just,
yeah.
You know what I mean? How
Yeah.
can you be like that?
No.
You
Well, people always make assumptions, but I mean, this guy was so massive that if he walked in anywhere where you
Noticeable
were,
straight
everyone's
away.
looking at him. Like,
Fuck.
did you ever see him
That
in
must
real
have been
life?
an awesome
In real
feeling.
life, I'm not kidding you. Your brain couldn't comprehend what you were looking at. It was like the only way to describe him was
Like a glitch.
If Johnny Bravo mated with the Hulk.
It looked like that. How tall was he as well?
But
Was he a
like-
tall guy?
But you only got half the Hulk and half Johnny Bravo. That kind of created Rich in a human-ish way. But he was just so abnormal to
How
look
tall
at.
was he? 6 foot?
I think
So
he was
he's not
about,
this
he was-
small,
He
yeah.
wasn't a small. No, he was a big dude. Like he wasn't super tall. He was maybe scraped 6 foot. I think.
Shit.
Like so, he wasn't short by any means. He was. You wouldn't look at him and ever think he was. No, he wasn't like a. You'd see bodybuilders and they're
Like,
tiny.
tiny,
No. He
bulky.
wasn't like that. He was a solidly. Probably around about 6 foot, and God knows what his arms were, man. Jesus.
I saw that picture that you put on
There's a picture of
Instagram.
me up on my Instagram. I put it up just
He's
as a
fucking
throwback
swole.
to say, a sad to hear the news and things. And that was the picture I had with him. He's just crazy. But the thing to take from Rich was he created a movement. He created a huge movement. Like whether you loved it or hated it, you knew about it. And whether you loved or hated him, you knew about him. And yeah, he did some funny videos. But I mean, if you have any sense about you knew that Rich didn't have a lot of sense when it came to drugs and nutritional knowledge. He took a whole load of bro science, a whole load of what he thought worked well on him, and he just mashed them together. And then compensated massively with huge drug stacks. And that's kind of how it works. So people do need to understand that like anything Rich did, there were so many areas in his nutritional side that were basically buffered by the drug cycles he took alongside what he did. So that's why what he did worked most of the time. And he's gone. He's gone. It's fucking weird. He's gone. I said he wouldn't make it to 50, but he was only 46.
He was 46.
46.
See, for a guy who was smashing a lot of drugs, that's not that young.
Do you reckon?
46.
I said he wouldn't make it to 50, but 46. I thought he'd make it to 50.
You thought he'd make it to 50?
Yeah.
But by the way you make it sound like he was smashing everything. Like,
He was.
I thought he would have died a lot
The
earlier.
dude did so much growth hormone, his head grew.
Fuck.
He said like his cap size went up, his hands grew, his feet went a size up. So, he went loopy-de-loo with it.
It's a funny thing when someone dies that like not in your circle, but you know of.
You've
your
met
body
them,
reacts.
you've appreciated
Your
them.
body
Or
reacts
even-
really differently.
Well, that's I
doesn't it?
suppose the thing with all these podcasts now, YouTube and everything. Even if you never meet the guys, you
kind
feel
of-
like you know them
because
anyway.
of the lifestyle. Yeah.
Which is a nice thing because they've invited you into their world, and that's how much you kind of adhere to them. And to be fair, take it aside from all the drugs and the crazy shit that Rich did, the one thing you can take away from him is that guy was at an expo. If you saw him at an expo, he was in there until they were shutting the fucking place down. Like, lights were turning off on him and he was still meeting people. And he didn't take a break from the stand. He would literally sit down to eat and keep people coming to meet him. So he'd have a sofa at the stand. So he'd be up standing for most of it, like doing his thing. Then when he started to get tired and need to eat, he'd go and sit on the sofa, which was this huge red leather sofa that he'd take everywhere. And then whoever was ready to meet him next would just come and sit next to him on the sofa whilst he was eating and get a photo and have a chat for whatever. So you can't take that, he left an impact. And what more, the way he went about things was crazy. And obviously, I think the big thing that people is going to say the steroids killed him, and they didn't. I don't think they did. I think what's going to come out is recreational drugs have never done it. I think his organ failure would have probably killed him later because of the use of all the pills and drugs. But the direct, I reckon it's going to be something really underwhelming that got him. Like, all the crazy shit he was doing, like all that stuff he plugged into over the years, I reckon it'd be something daft, like a mix of sleeping pills and something that got him. Like with all the Hollywood guys. A painkiller and a sleeping tablet taken at the wrong time together.
Such a shame, innit? Like, you wouldn't think when someone's at the pinnacle and someone's so like successful that, talking about prescription drugs here, and so many people have kind of committed suicide towards that way, and just speaking of death in general, America is a massive problem. They just fucking give it out like it's nothing. Yeah. What? Here, take this.
Yeah, and like, what is it they give him? What do they call it? What is that stuff called? That's going to really, really annoy me.
It's something so simple.
Yeah, and they use it to like anxiety medication and all that kind of. Anyway, they hand it out over there like nothing. Like nothing. Same with the ADD things for kids. It's just crazy. I think the problem is...
Stansett. No, not Stansett.
What?
Oh, not Stansett.
That's not even close.
It's something like that. Take it.
It's like a Valium thing, isn't it? Like, Valium's one of them they give out. Like, yeah. So I think that's what he's going to do. I think he would probably have done an upper with a downer of some kind. And because what happened is his partner was cutting his hair and he just went, boof, collapsed. And then obviously she rang 911. They came, found him unresponsive, induced him, put him in a coma, hoping that he'd... So I don't know whether he's like... Maybe it'll even be something as shitty as he passed out and smacked his head on the way down. And just caught something badly. Back of the head or something. Do you know what I mean? Cerebral.
Well, we'll find... How long does it take? Autopsy now. So 4 days? 4 or 5 days after the...
It's gonna be within the week, isn't it? You gotta say. Oh! And Dallas Carver. Another bodybuilder who died. This week.
I don't even
Dallas Carver, 26-year-old.
26?
Hailed as like the next Mr. Olympia. Huge guy.
Show me him, please.
Huge guy.
Yeah, I'm not like I said to you earlier today.
Look at this.
I only just found out who Dorian fucking Yates is. And he's like he's like pinnacle of bodybuilding.
Have you've seen Rich Piana, yeah?
Of course I've seen Rich Piana, yes.
So obviously, here he is.
He's a swole ass motherfucker. Imagine him being your dad and going parents' evening.
Look at
him. Me. My daddy be your daddy. Yeah, bring him in.
And you'd be like, yeah, your daddy wins.
Oh my god.
Look at him.
Fuck.
Just crazy.
Look at them.
It's crazy.
Fucking hell, dude. You know you're big when your arms are bigger than your head.
Oi! Enough!
You know you're swole when your arms are bigger than your head.
Yeah. Look, then there's literally, he had like arms like legs, but all this is, anyway, so that was Rich, and then this is Dallas Carver, who was known as Angela Carver. This is how... Is that him? Yeah, Muck Carver, is it? Yeah, here we go. Dallas McCarver dies aged 26 in Florida. Choking on his food.
Shut up.
Choked on his food, man. So, this guy, 26 years old, was just insane. Wait for these pictures to pop up. Look at him. 26.
He's 26 there?
Yeah.
Fuck
This was
me.
him, like, recently. And, they were all hailing him as the next Mr. Olympia. This video is literally the one he put up a couple of hours before. It's him, obviously, doing a full workout. This was like I think it was within 12 hours, maybe even less of him. Maybe 21 hours prior, he put this up. So obviously, he looks in full good health there. Ridiculously huge. Probably prepping for the Olympia right now. I haven't kept up with it to know why. And choked on his food in his apartment. Found there's a 911 call on there of someone found him of the call saying he's choked, and they were found dead at the scene, I think.
Shit, man, this podcast took a turn in death.
Yeah, it did.
God,
Let's
lighten things up, man. Life is good, man.
Yeah,
fuck that.
But that was it. I mean, that's what's happened in the news today.
Yeah,
in the sporting world. And that I think that's
just quickly.
We'll leave it with it. Don't take huge amounts of drugs, and be careful when you chew your chicken. This is the main thing we want to say.
Don't chew bones.
Don't chew bones. I think that's everything. So anyway, I think that was quite a fun podcast to get back into. Anyway, we're going to try and keep them around about this kind of hour length because that's kind of cool. If we get more going, I am traveling next week. I am going to America, so I will be seeing a certain somebody. I'm not going to let you know who yet, and I will endeavour to do a podcast with them when I get out there, and I think you guys will appreciate that one. I think we should do this regularly, me and Thee, because we chat quite well. So if you'd like to see Joe back, the average Joe, let us know. Let us know. Comment below. Tweet me. You can find all our links and everything in the description. Leave comments on Instagram, tweet us, whatever you want to do, whatever facet of social media it is that you use. I will have Yusuf's links all in the description as well. Other than that, I think that's it.
Yeah, man,
that
was awesome, dude. And
okay.
like I said, time goes so fast when you're talking.
Oh, for those that were asking who saw the video of you before, yes, he does have Pokemon tattooed on his arms. You'll see if you go check out Joe's pictures. He's got Pokemon tattoos on his forearm. They're pretty cool. And I think with that note of him being a big child, we're gonna go eat some Kit Kats. Lex and Joe,
let's take a break.
Let's do. Let
Oh,
take a break.
You said Kit Kat.
So oh, you thought we were going to play Kit Kat. I don't have any Kit Kats. What we do have is a 1, 2, 3 underhook.
Oh, fuck, my ass is so numb.
Knees are killing me.